Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Saturday Morning Coffee / Afternoon with Back to Basics Dog Training. For those of you who don't know me, watching for the first time, I'm Leon. I'm the trainer here at Back to Basics Dog Training. And usually every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, I bring you this platform, but this morning I had something to do, so I came an hour later. So those of you watching me live, put a comment in, let me know you're watching, give me a shout out, say, hey, what's up? For those watching later on the replay, let me know you watched the replay. Give me a shout out of that way too. So, like you normal, I am going to start off with something that happened this week until some questions start popping in. And anytime, please put your questions in here, guys. This platform is for you. It's to help you guys go on this journey of dog training. I'm here to be a coach and a mentor and a motivator to get you guys out there doing the job and training these dogs to coexist in our world. So the journey of dog training I talk about is real to me. So get your questions in there. We'll get them answered. But we're going to start off with something that happened to me this week just to show you that, I've been doing this for a lot of years and I understand a lot about dogs' behavior. I understand their body language. I understand how they communicate to us. But sometimes I do things that are not the smartest things in the world. So what happened this week is I was working with a dog, as close to feral dog as you can possibly get. About a year ago, the dog was rescued, maybe a little longer than a year ago. It was running the streets. It was definitely a feral dog, scared of everything, terrified of everything. Didn't understand the concept of putting a leash over its head or a collar over its head. It didn't understand what a crate was. It didn't know anything about social life as we know it for our dogs. So we've been doing some work with this dog for a long time, and he's made huge, huge progress. But one of the issues he was having is he is being leash reactive towards other dogs. I was going to try to videotape it for you guys, but it was very hard to videotape it as I'm working. So one of the things we did do is introduce the dog to the prong collar this week or last week. And again, if anybody knows me, I have no problem with the use of prong collars if they're used properly. The collar itself will never hurt the dog. The human behind the collar can hurt the dog. So we decided to give them an easier time for the strong dog. We're going to introduce a prong collar. We met at a dog park outside of a dog park to help the dog learn to coexist when other dogs are around and not react on a leash as much. So when we met in a parking lot and, said hellos, we chit chatted a little bit, and then it was time to introduce the prong collar to the dog. And for whatever reason, he went and he jumped into the back of the little SUV. And I said, okay, that's good. I'm going to be lazy and I don't have to bend over to put the collar on the dog. Forgetting that he was a feral dog and didn't understand a lot of things. So the mistake that I made is I went and put the collar on the dog. He was showing me some body language that he wasn't comfortable with this whole procedure, but I ignored it. And that was a mistake I made. By ignoring it, he reacted in an aggressive manner after I got the collar on him. It was loose, it wasn't too tight. Um, but he was telling me he wasn't comfortable with that procedure. I'm trapped. I have no flight mechanism. And without that flight mechanism, his next reaction is going to be fight. Um, and instead of introducing it outside where it was a little bit more open and if he showed me a little bit more body language, trying to that flight mechanism, I would have slowed down the whole procedure and really introduced it right a different way to him. But I just wanted you guys to understand. I've been doing this for a lot of years, and it was a mistake I made. And he did act out aggressively towards me. He lunged towards me, and he was telling me he's not an aggressive dog. He was just saying, "Hey, dude, I'm not comfortable." And you know what? He's allowed to say that. So there was no correction given. I let him go through it. He didn't bite me. He tried. I was quick enough. Thank God not to be bit. But I let him go through the process of whatever was going through his mind, and then we moved him forward. Instead of reacting to that negative, he lunged at me with a correction and a firm no, and what are you doing? I just stayed the same, got him out of the tailgate of the truck of the SUV, And I stayed calm. I stayed the same. So he realized, hey, I did this. I lunged at this guy, and he didn't change his demeanor. He didn't yell at me. He didn't get angry with me. He didn't get frustrated with me. He let me say what I wanted to say. And what he told me is, hey, don't ever do that again to this guy. He's not comfortable with it. So after we got him used to it, he felt the pressure. He didn't understand it. We just took our time. We brought high value treats for him. We started doing our walk around the dog park area. There was a nice walking trail. Ran into a couple of dogs, and he was curious sometimes, but sometimes he just used his eyes. And when he used his eyes is when I got the reaction from him. And when he used his eyes, it was usually involving dogs that were of a higher energy. So he kind of reacted to what he was seeing, not what he was smelling. And then the beautiful thing is when he used it, well, not beautiful thing, when he used his eyes, you can see he tensed, his whole body tensed up. He gave us enough warning where we could make slight leash corrections, and he understood it for the most part. But the beauty is, at one point, we were just hanging out by the dog park area. The dogs playing in the dog park, coming over to the fence and greeting us, and all that dogs normally do. When he used his nose, you could see, and he relaxed. He didn't feel threatened by the other dogs. The dogs that startled him, that came up really quick at the fence, he did react. And we made our corrections, and he learned to kind of coexist with them. And he started using his nose more than his eyes, which is crucial for any dog. And later on in the adventure or the journey that we were going on, a couple dogs passed us, and his at that point the owner had the dog him on a leash, and she wasn't making good corrections. She was using a lot of tension in her corrections, and you can see he was just getting more and more jacked up the more and more tension she was applying, because she wasn't making corrections, she was creating tension. So I took the leash, I made a correction. He did not like it because at that point his energy level was so high. I had to go a little bit higher, of course, to get his attention. And he threw what I call a temper tantrum, which is he gave me that look. He showed me his teeth. He did everything that you know he normally would do in that situation. And I went with him. He was kind of bucking a little bit. I just went with him, and within 15 seconds, maybe, he just looked at me and said, "Oh, okay, I'm not supposed to do that anymore. That's not what you want me to do. Okay, what do you want me to do?" And as soon as I saw him get into that calm state of mind, we gave him a reward, a treat, because we praised him for a calmer state of mind. The beauty of that is more dogs passed us, and he just stood there and observed. He wasn't shut down. He wasn't scared. He just said he would see the dog coming. He would relax. He would sit because we'd ask him to sit, and he would look at us like, "Okay, is this good?" And as soon as he gave us that eye contact, we rewarded him. We gave him that treat because we were telling him, "This is how we expect you to react when you see any dog out on your walk or any dog anywhere. You're supposed to relax, sit down, and look at us for guidance." And by him doing that, he got the highest praise. He got our praise by, "Good boy, oh my God, we're so proud of you." And he got the high value treat. So we kind of combined the two because we really wanted to break him of this leash reactivity. Um, but it all started with us staying calm no matter what. Yes, the owners were going through the journey, they were learning. So when she was making the initial correction, she was tense on her corrections. And that's okay because that gave me an opportunity to take the leash, take the reins, and show her what she needed to do, where she made her mistakes. Like I said, we saw the dog tensing up at a very low level, and she right away started holding tension. No corrections were made, which the correction is not, again, to hurt or scare the dog. The correction is designed to unlock the dog's brain. No, a little pop of the leash with the prong of the pop is a lot lighter. Just to get the dog to unlock its brain from doing this, focusing on this dog, focusing, I'm going to get this dog. Well, what do you want? And that's what we're trying to accomplish. Once he started looking at us every single time a dog passed us, came to the fence at the dog park, He stopped himself, self-corrected, sat, looked at us for guidance, got praised, got rewarded. So it was a great, great lesson. It started with me messing up, putting this thing on a confined dog. Dogs have the same reactions we do: fight, flight, avoidance, submission. He was in a position where he felt like, when I was putting the collar on him, he felt like he needed to get away, but he was confined inside the back of the SUV. I should have stopped. I should have had him come out. But since I didn't, he reacted because he had no flight mechanism. So his next reaction is survival. I'm going to take you out. And yes, he came at me aggressively, but because I didn't react to that aggressiveness in anything but calm state of mind, he got it. He did it. He threw his temper tantrum, and nothing bad happened to him. So we were able to continue on our journey, which was now working around other dogs, and he got it. So it was a beautiful thing. Um, this is going to be a very short Q&A session because there's nobody really watching, but that's okay. Anybody watching later on the replay, please put your comments in. If you have questions on leash reactivity, let me know. Put a comment in. I am going to try to get a video of working with a leash reactive dog. The dog I'm planning on doing it with is on vacation right now. So hopefully after Thanksgiving, he'll be back and I can work with him in an environment where there's going to be a lot of dogs. That's one or two people that are recording it with me so I can go through the whole journey of this with you guys, because it's a big issue people have with their dogs being leash reactive. I mean, in the complex I'm in now, I hear when dogs walk by each other, the chaos and the commotion. And if anybody ever lost the leash on some of these dogs around here, it's going to get ugly quick. So my goal again is to, coach you, motivate you, guide you on how you can take the initiative, how you can do this. And the beauty of the way I teach it is I don't physically have to be there. We can do Zoom, we can do Facebook Live, we can do whatever, and or whatever it's called on the whatever, Google Duo, Google Meet, whatever it's called, FaceTime. We can do all these things for training sessions. So one, having the expense of me coming to your home, I can reach out to people across the country, across the world even, to teach them these methodologies. And like I said, my job is I'm a coach, I'm a motivator. I'm here to motivate you guys to go on this journey with your dogs and help train your dogs to coexist in our world the way we need them to coexist in our world. Because you got to remember, guys, they're animals. Their world is not our beautiful homes that we give them. It's not the soft, cushy dog beds that we give them, our couches, our chairs. It's, not being fed 2 to 3 meals a day. That's not their natural world. But the beauty is they want to be part of our world. And it's our job to guide them on that journey together. So again, I don't see any questions coming in. I don't see a lot of viewers. I know I'm an hour later than usual. So I'm not going to be long-winded. If there's questions, of course, please put the questions in the comments and I will get to each and every question as soon as possible. But if there's no questions, we're going to wrap it up a little early this weekend. We're only going to do about a 15-minute thing. But it doesn't matter because we're getting our point across. So either way, it works, and hopefully you guys will get something out of it. Like I said, I focused on leash reactivity this week. I normally talk about the walk every week because I think the walk is crucial to the coexistence and the guidance and the leadership, but it's not the end of all. There's other issues that we can always discuss. So of course, anybody who has a comment or a question can put it in there at any time. I do look at this during the week. Remember, if you're watching on the Remember Me Rescue pages, please find my Facebook page, Back to Basics Dog Training SC, when you do the search. I see the comments on my Facebook page a lot quicker than I see the ones on the Remember Me Rescue. So if you find mine, it's better. Find this video and put your questions in there. I will answer any question at any time. But with that being said, guys, have a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. As always, thank you for inviting me into your home each and every Saturday morning. In this case, the afternoon. We'll see you next Saturday at our regularly scheduled time, which is 11 o'clock. And as always, stay healthy, stay safe, God bless, and remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and we'll see you next week.